It is insane that we are living in a universe now where a solid chunk of the population is hallucinating. How the f do we get back to reality? And they're both still very quiet about it, too. Anyway, now let's get back to Amer Israel, where Ilhan Omar, Congressperson Ilhan Omar, had an incident where a psychopathic right-winger attacked her during her town hall back in Minneapolis, or back in Minnesota.
And Ilhan Omar was assaulted last night during a town hall. You can see here a man sprayed her with an unknown substance. Does not appear that she was hurt, but it comes as new details emerge about the shooting death of VA nurse Alex Preddy. A memo obtained by CBS News from Customs and Border Protection does not line up with what DHS officials originally claimed. Our chief correspondent, Matt Gutman, is in Minneapolis. Matt, good morning.
Vlad, good morning. What stood out most from that memo from Customs and Border Protection was what it omitted.
Okay, they very quickly move on from that and go into this memo, but this angle is the best angle because you can see she was ready to throw hands. I covered this last night, obviously, when it first happened.
As Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
Dude, look at that. She straight up goes in. She was about to throw hands. Oh, God, I love Ilhan Omar so much. We do not deserve her. We do not deserve Ilhan Omar, okay? She is a treasure. She is the best we have, straight up. Her and Rashida Tlaib, I will ride till the ends of time. Like, I will ride for them no matter what. Oh, my God. And of course, the way that this played out, Summer Lee too, they're all incredible. But the way that this played out, obviously makes Ilhan Omar look like a brave warrior, and the cowardly right-wingers have no idea what a real hero looks like. So immediately they started going, "Oh, this is fake. This is staged." Yeah, you can see how sloshed this two-time divorce champion was over here, trying to get the courage to be able to do this indecent act.
And round of applause for Congresswoman Omar's staff who's here. Hi, everyone.
God, he's so disgusting. A gross freak. I know. I looked at his Instagram profile because they found his Instagram profile after, after his name was revealed. He has children that I suspect have been separated from him because they are. I think they look queer. They could be. I assume they're they're woke. He has woke children, and now the right is using that to claim that this person, this lunatic, is actually a secret Ilhan Omar fan.
Hi everyone, I'm Hennepin. And round of applause for Congresswoman Omar's.
Oh, yeah. Also, The Independent actually found the dude's brother labeled suspect to attack Ilhan Omar, a right-wing extremist who has hated Somalis for decades. In my mind, he's a piece of shit, Anthony Kazmierzak's brother told The Independent. I'm not surprised this happened, Anthony James Kazmierzak's brother said Wednesday morning on a phone interview from his home in North Carolina. Not at all. Unfortunately, he and my mother are both right-wing extremists. Kazmierzak, a 55-year-old Minneapolis resident, is just a different person than I am, according to the brother, who said he has been estranged from his sibling for the past 4 years. The Independent agreed not to name the brother, who said he had begun receiving death threats, of course. I believe in helping people, Kazmierzak's brother, 52, went on. He believes in blaming people. When asked if Kazmierzak had mentioned Omar before, the brother responded, "Oh, yeah," and said he is thankful for the Somali-born Democratic legislator who fled her war-torn nation as a child and became a U.S. citizen in 2000, wasn't badly hurt. Kazmierzak's antipathy towards Somali Americans, whose presence in Minneapolis makes up the largest Somali population in the U.S., dates well back to before Omar was elected in 2019, according to the brother. He has had a hatred of the Somali community probably 20 years, Kazim's brother continued. There's a reason I don't talk to him. He's got a lot of anger. I have no idea where it comes from. He has always been that way, in and out of treatment since he was a kid. Another mentally ill, sociopathic MAGA writer. And of course, as expected, once again, just like with the David DePipe situation, just as it was the case with the David DePipe situation, they immediately went and said, this is a psyop. This is a psyop, and it's staged. And how did they arrive at this photo? With AI, of course. They hate seeing themselves on camera doing the deed that they claim they want to do. They hate it. They hate it so much, they immediately go into cope mode, because this is what you look like in public. On Twitter, you might hide behind an anonymous account, but this is what you're at. This is who you are. This is who you want to be. What is this? Do you wear fake war jackets, a cosplay struggle for people who Uber their groceries? Or is that just the official uniform of socialism when it's sponsored by DoorDash? Fake war jacket. This is Ralph Lauren double R edition, brother. If you think this is a war jacket, you are literally a moron. That says more about yourself than anybody else. My man said fake war jacket. Are we going to get a lolly PFP? Let's take a look. My man got mad because I called him out because I said, this is what you look like in public. Nothing streams workers love revolution like designer cosplay made by underpaid factories while you explain socialism from $1 million chair to people who Uber their toothpaste. Brother, what happened? You mad? You big mad that there's a spotlight on people that look exactly like this, that think exactly like this, that you have to lash out? It's not Lolly, it's Hunter Hunter, but still, I'll take it. It's Killua, I know. Check the Roachman logs. Apparently, this is his Twitter. Oh, yeah. Major Trump supporter. Major follower of like Tim Pool and all these other people. Anthony Kazmierzak's Facebook page has been found. He's Andy on there. He's a massive Trump, Israel, and Charlie Kirk fan. He even changed his Facebook profile picture of Trump and Erica Kirk. In conclusion, he's MAGA. His neighbor said he's pretty conservative. His brother said he's actually out of his mind. So let's just ban all Hassan viewers, lol. Hassan channel. Can you check Fox News Live? What happened, big dog? You still lashing out? No, I watch you. Oh, well, you don't just watch me, huh? Just wanted to say thanks for confirming what the jacket is. Appreciate the fashion patch notes. You're welcome. Hot take, in 50 years, we will have massive studies linking right-wing ideological inconsistency with literal physical mental disability. And no, this is not just me calling them R-words in a nice way. I genuinely believe that a vast number of Americans don't have the mental faculties required for adult-level critical thought, whether it's genetic, environmental, or something third. We'll know eventually. This goes past the classic philosophical argument that we are formed by our environment, while the vast majority are subjects shaped by society. They grew up in material conditions, etc. There is a substrata of cretins so profoundly inconsistent that one must recognize their failings as more biological than political. To contextualize, right-wing political thought is almost purely social disease. TLDR 1, system in crisis. 2, those who benefit from system don't want to change it. 3, they want to create alternative explanations for why everything sucks, moving attention away from the system. And 4, the people who believe that are reactionaries, I'm talking about a substrata of reactionary, which apparently literally lacks the ability to comprehend contradictions. It just doesn't click for them. Like wearing a Don't Threat on Us shirt on your pro-ICE protest after they killed a guy for practicing their Second Amendment rights. The proactivity and the logical inconsistency creates cause for concern on whether their behavior is caused by social environments or the physical inability to process information adequately. But hey, this is just a theory, a game theory. I think people like this have always existed throughout time. It's just that the internet has made it a little bit crazier. Don't say it's a bit eugenic. The solution here isn't to kill them, okay? The solution is to figure out what the hell's going on. Also, stupid people should still have health care and adequate mental conditions. Adequate mental care, adequate health care, adequate material conditions. Like, it doesn't matter. The goal is to actually make the goal is to soften the impact of stupid people like this, okay? The goal is to make sure that they get the proper treatment. The goal is to make sure that they're not likely to go out and do something like this, okay? I think it's just the American education system being so dog shit, doesn't push people to exercise critical thinking, and thus brain development gets stunted. I think that's what it is. Yes. I think that's precisely what it is. Like, you can't sincerely tell me that a guy like this is, all there. Okay. Libs of TikTok, Benny Johnson, Charlie Kirk, Babylon B, Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, Elon Musk, Hodge Twins, Tim Pool, City of Minneapolis. Also, lead pipes, for sure. The most complete glimpse yet into the life and radicalization of Anthony Kazmierzak, the man who rushed Ilhan Omar, from rarely posting anything political to physically attacking members of Congress in just a few years, another victim of the algorithm. Okay, boom. Divorce number 1, DWI. DWI 2, sued for $11,000 in debt. Divorce number 2, court filings revealed that he was unemployed and received a $39,000 annual disability. He had no retirement account or plan. His Lexus was stolen and had over $10,000 in loan and credit card debt to his name. His best friend dies in 2021. Attempts to troll his local Nextdoor group about Kamala Harris. First political post in 10/12/2021. Post political cartoon about Ilhan Omar on Facebook, 10/31/2021. How do people know this? It's because his Facebook account. They look through everything, because as soon as his name was revealed, they basically looked through his Facebook account, which is where he's most active, a lot more active than Twitter somehow. He's not Polish. This is very clearly a Belarusian instigator. Look at his head shape and physiognomy. Belarusian or Czech, not a real Pole. Don't let that last name fool you, brother. I don't know how to explain this to you, but that's a man, okay? That's a Polish man, okay? Listen, not all Poles. Not all Poles. I'm going to say that. But that man is Polish. I love the Poles in the chat. I ride for you. I die for you. This one is definitely Polish. Kurwa. Polish people in the chat are getting Polish people in the chat are already having a hard time, because all 10 of them that want socialism are getting absolutely cumstered and dumpstered in one of the more reactionary countries in the European continent. And then on top of that, they're getting anti-Polish hate here. Okay, I love pierogi, kurwa, but that's a Polish man. Kurwa. Attempts to troll his local next door neighbor. Post political cartoon about Ilhan Omar. Purchases Glock 43X. First date with black girlfriend. Race relevant later. Last new photo with daughters on Facebook. One has since moved out. Other appears to be still be involuntarily committed. One calls themselves gender fluid in their Instagram bio. Other uses she/they pronouns. Last public interaction with girlfriend on Facebook. Does not post again until 9/21/2023. Significantly less activity after he returns, and the majority of posts are old photos re-uploaded. Sued again for $1,000 debt. Daughter involuntarily committed for mental illness and chemical dependency sometime between April and July 2024. Answers questions on Quora pushing election fraud, conspiracy, expressing hatred for Democrats. Says he feels sick at the thought of Biden winning. Asked when descendants of slaves will pay reparations to descendants of Union soldiers for freeing them. Sued again for $1,200 debt. Daughter's involuntary commitment extended. Creates Twitter account Andy's Right. First post criticizing Klobuchar. Tweets frustration about black people reproducing. More racist tweets calling black people, I'm not going to read that, and evil beasts. Makes President Trump his Facebook profile picture 9/11/2025. 9/21/2025 makes President Trump and Erica Kirk Facebook profile picture 11/14/2025. Tweets that black people are reverting to apes 12/28/2025. Tweets dismay at lack of Somalis arrested by ICE in Minneapolis 12/29/2025. Tweets that white people are genetically superior to blacks. Also tweets further dismay that black people are reproducing 1/8/2026. Tweets about and justifies Renee Good shooting 1/28/2026. Rushes Ilhan Omar at town hall event. And this man had a gun. Okay, because this could have gotten a lot worse. This story, this trend of radicalization is so common, dude. Is so fucking common. Like this is, and it happens to people like Elon Musk even. Divorce, financial issues. Obviously, Elon Musk doesn't have the financial struggles because he's the wealthiest person on the planet. But like divorce, queer children, not being able to deal with any of that shit, in and out of family court, constantly in debt, on disability payments. Like this is the most common right-wing story, dude. Would this be considered a hate crime when adding all his tweets into the picture? I mean, good luck prosecuting anything in this court system, but But this is straight up a person whose brain has been destroyed by the internet. A person whose brain has been warped by the internet. Hold on. I have to text this person. There are a million examples of this. My leading theory at this point is that Kazmierzak blamed the left for taking his two daughters and fell deeper and deeper there from there down the rabbit hole without any family or money left. He had to find somebody to blame other than himself. Like, you see it too. You see it with like constantly talking about like black people being evil beasts and stuff like that. This is how white supremacy is the ultimate cope. Here is some of his profiles, by the way. I mean, one of the profile that we were looking at earlier. No. And obviously blacks were first modern human. We will continue to evolve as white people. Blacks are the old homos. Whites are the newly improved version. Like, this is why I talk about the psychology behind white supremacy all the time. The psychology behind white supremacy is that if you are a loser, if nothing is going well in your life, if you're a whole ass loser, and you recognize how big of a loser you are, you recognize how your life has not turned around, your life is not going the way you thought it would be when you were a child, you desperately hold on to some kind of tribalist attitude that gives you a sense of superiority over others. You find an automatic group to blame for every single thing that's going on. It's the same with like anti-Semitism as well. It's the same thing. It's always like you're shifting your own personal failures in an effort to find power in something. And then white supremacy and fascism basically causes you to like, white supremacy and fascism allows you to lean into that, this idea that like you are superior just because you're white. Do you know about the dump by black women to racist as pipeline works on men from all backgrounds? I can see that too. This guy isn't going to jail forever. He'll be out in a while. 100%. This guy becomes an influencer or goes deeper into his hatred and does something bigger. I can see that. It's also something that I've brought up before. Like, dudes on disability payments hate welfare queens too. I found it's not just with loser whites. Successful whites will turn around and say colonialism was good, as they see it as responsible for their existence and material wealth. I mean, at least there's a logical through line there for those guys, though, because they are beneficiaries of this unjustifiable system of violence. But the much larger, much more significant movement of lumpenproles is this. Guys like this, just whole losers who inevitably snap and try to take matters in their own hands. And there are a ton. There are a ton of dudes like this on disability that constantly chirp about welfare queens, not realizing that like they're cutting off their own lifeline. They vote for it, thinking blacks will be punished. Like, that's their mentality. And it's like, brother, what are you talking about? It's you, brother. This is the suicidal ideation of white supremacy. Okay, this is how it works. The hard beat, yes, I'm LARPing as the person, chatter. Calm down. Anthony Kazmierzak, classic MAGA, socialism for me and not for thee. Unemployed and on Social Security since at least mid-40s, $85K in consumer debts, discharged in bankruptcy, a classic. Oops, I missed a second bankruptcy in 2004, another $36,000 in consumer debts written off. He used a different middle initial, so I thought it was a different guy, but then checked the Social Security number, same guy. This is straight up. I mean, guys like this are so common. I don't know how to describe this to you. If you have never been to a rural place in this country, if you've just spent all of your life living in big cities, and there is guys like this in big cities too, for sure, but they're less common in big cities because big cities are so unaffordable. But like in the more affordable sides of this country, in the rural areas, in the suburbs, guys like this are a dime a dozen. And they do not understand that the system is them super hard. And it's virtually impossible for them to understand, especially when they get to this level. Okay, but this is a perfect demonstration of that radicalization pipeline. And it happens so frequently. And they are the backbone of the Trump MAGA movement. They are the backbone of this movement. Many of you that came from small towns, know this guy. You see their Facebook posts all the time. Okay? Maybe you moved into a bigger city. Maybe you got a job. Those guys never did. You know 10 guys like this. If you still live in a small town, you are surrounded by guys like this. I live in southern Idaho, and most people here receive Social Security as their only form of income and are all MAGA. Yep. And they do not even understand. These guys are different than cops, okay? This is a different level. This is, like, if we're looking at hogwatch as a person who has basically a PhD in hogwatch, okay? I have studied the hog so perfectly. And let me tell you, this is the backbone of the MAGA movement. They are different. There's like the HVAC business owners that are the relatively financially successful. They still get a fuck ton of debt as well. Debt is so common in America for many of these people, including people in this chat as well. So debt is normal. They all have debt, like a ton of debt. They get it written off with bankruptcies and things like that. But this is a different demon. This is a different demon than the guy who becomes a cop. The cop is at least like has a job. You know what I mean? This is a guy who does not have a job and cannot hold a job and basically tries to self-medicate through alcoholism, self-medicate through drug abuse, and will then talk about how black people are, doing drugs. They're beasts and all this shit, while not even recognizing that they are, they're actually lashing out through racial animosity what they hate about themselves. Okay, it's pure projection. This is the lumpenproll, the backbone of every fascist movement. Two-timer DWI champion, two-timer divorce champion, constantly in and out of family court. Spends every waking moment watching Fox News and then slowly but surely moving on to Newsmax, OAN, and way worse outlets in general. Kids don't want to talk to them because they're obviously like, my dad's a fucking loser. And they cannot comprehend that the reason why everyone has isolated these people is because they're a abject failure. And in that abject failure, they just fester. They get more and more mad until it turns into this like weird right-wing psychosis. And racism at that point, white supremacy and fascism and conspiracy theories that lean heavily into bigotry become this self-soothing lullaby. If your dad calls you a drug addict and you have to fight back tears behind a fake smile while a random female tries to comfort you, then you should know you've seriously fucked up. Clavicular's dad texted him calling him a drug addict after watching him act on stream while he was allegedly on ketamine.
My dad said full-blown drug addict, sad. My dad said that. Oh, Dad. Dad, I'm making money. What the fuck do you want me to do? Next stream we'll give to the homeless or something. We have to do something nice next stream, all right?
This is why he actually started jester maxing. He was not mogging when he was holding back the tears, I'll be honest. This is pathetic, dog. I know, man. America is in such a sad state of affairs, dude. Logs, please. I got a question, Poppy. How does this relate to my black father, Lamau, straight from Zimbabwe to Alberta, and he's a MAGA? I mean, I think by now we have realized that white supremacy is like a universal factor, right? Like white supremacist fascism is a universal factor. I mean, look at fucking ICE. ICE agents are majority black and brown, okay? Majority Hispanic. It's Alberta. It's the Alberta effect, I suspect. But that's what it is. Yeah, Fanon even called this. Yeah, that's true. I mean, he did talk about this of like diaspora constantly trying to be something better and immediately landing on white supremacist principles as a way to make up for what they feel lost, like a revenge fantasy, right? Something along those lines. Desperate to be a part of the in-group and then overcompensating to be a part of the in-group by leaning into some of the worst, like most violent aspects of white supremacist imperialism. Don't worry, Trump will fix all of America's problems by bombing Iran. Yeah. But I do think that this is for me I think this still stems from like deep insecurity born out of your material conditions, born out of your abject failure, and a recognition of said abject failure. When you're a kid, you just assume your life is going to turn out much better. You know, you're like, I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going to be a firefighter. I'm going to save people, right? Lo and behold, before you know it, you're 55 years old, 2-time divorce champion, 2-time DWI champion, numerous bankruptcies. Kids don't want to talk to you. You're just a whole loser. You desperately seek out why you're a loser. And then someone tells you a comforting lullaby where it says, oh, you're a loser because the elite liberals have actually ruined your life through feminism. Elite liberals have ruined your life through feminism. They've made your children woke and gay. They took your children away from you, you know. You're not an abject failure. Everyone else has made you into the person that you are. And then you love that shit. It's cope. To be fair, I think a lot of black immigrants don't fully get why we black Americans are treated like shit. And when you're wealthy enough to come here, you think capitalism is the only barrier. Got to humble yourself and do the research, though. I mean, I'm not going to get into this stuff either because, like, I've experienced this with my friends who were, like, you know, fresh off the boat from Nigeria that went from having, dare I say, straight up white supremacist adjacent opinions about black Americans to realizing very quickly that white supremacy does not make a distinction between how you got an engineering degree and that the cop that pulls you over still is going to treat you in the exact same way, to then be realizing very quickly that, like, you're still black. Let me tell you, a cop that pulls you over does not give a that you have an engineering degree and you're from a relatively well-off family in Nigeria. They do not give a fuck at all. And then when you realize that, when you experience that, then you realize, okay, never mind. Never mind. This is actually the same no matter where. They're doing the same thing they did to you.
Or
from Kaya Gate to Ilhan Omar. Yeah, I mean, these guys are delusional. They're
face impeachment.
Oh, she moved her arm like Kaya Gate. Like when I move my arm. Oh, God. They're saying that was quick, but did you catch that? Where she moves her arm to gesture. She hits the button. She hits the zapping button, the self-zap button. Idiots, dude. Hello. You guys like my new rug? What are you looking at? Is this rug available on ideology.shop? No. We catching bans in this hoe for sending you Candace Owens teas or what? I don't know why I was 24 hours banned yesterday. I don't know, but probably not.
But
Marie Concentration Camp Perez defending her ICE vote. We'll get to that later. Is the rug electrified? Yeah, it's an electric rug. To be honest, I feel like a loser most days. I'm underemployed, depressed, single, and bald, but I refuse to sacrifice my humanity to hateful right stances. The left and compassion is the only thing that keeps me on this planet. You're not alone, okay? And that's precisely what I try to do here in this community, which is try to pull these guys out, okay? Try to be a North Star for many of these people before they move into a very dangerous place in their lives. That's why a sense of community and a sense of purpose is very important. That's why I have an unflinching mission to explain to people that they are not responsible at the end of the day for their own material conditions, that there is a systemic analysis at play here. The problem that I have with right-wingers is that they actually don't conduct the proper systemic analysis and simply tell people that they are great because of the virtue of their whiteness, or simply tell people that they would have done much better if it wasn't for feminism or trans people existing. While I hate all the stuff with you beefing with other streamers, I see how huge it is that viewers get the chance to hear you. Yeah, the real minority group that you should be blaming is billionaires, is capital owners, not random black people that have the exact same material circumstances as you, that have the exact same class position as you. Yeah, the real POC to blame is not people of color, people of capital. How hard is it to be nice and equitable? I don't think it's that hard. I mean, I think I do a pretty decent job usually, unless it manifests into genuine violence like this. But that's how it is. And sometimes you got to say, all right, fuck this guy. Okay, enough is enough. Obviously, when they reach a certain level of violence, when that hatred actually manifests in the form of like violence against someone like Ilhan Omar, then yeah, I'm not going to be pleasant about this person at that point. this guy. This guy can suck my dick. The problem is there are millions of these people, and they all consistently vote for Republicans. Your dog Kaya, what happens when you put a cucumber next to her, like that jump scare video I once saw on the internet? Cat versus cucumber. Everyone's got some kind of personal struggle, trying to make it, trying to live out their dreams, and having a hard time achieving this. Have you talked about the EU-India trade deal yet? No. Ken Klippenstein got leaks to confirm that DHS domestic watch list and applications. Yeah, I was talking about that last night. The class that Hasanabi is by far the most disparaging and violent towards is gaming frogs. He knows it's wrong, and he's lashing out against us because of his own insecurity about gaming. It's sad to see. It's true. It's true. But yeah, at the end of the day, the reason why incels are the backbone of like the fascist movement, and the reason why these guys are the backbone of the fascist movement is because they always have been, okay? These are the loyal soldiers of fascism, people with nothing to lose, people who think that they have lost everything in their lives as a consequence of like other people, socialists at the time when socialism was obviously a much more robust movement. There's a reason why they have so much resentment, so much anger towards, who they have declared as their ideological opposition. You know, in the aftermath of this, they will still continue to engage in this self-soothing behavior. That self-soothing behavior extends when they see something like that. Yeah, that photo is AI. The photo of them together is AI. Ironically enough, even if it was real, it still wouldn't mean anything, but it doesn't matter. But here it is. Here is the self-soothing behavior, which I responded with, we need to put these people in a isolated area. Well, the alleged Ilhan Omar sprayer, Andy Kazmerzak, seems to have some far-left gender pronoun children, but yeah, totally MAGA. This stinks of being staged. There are 30 million reasons why. Yeah. The most prominent Republican on the website that you're tweeting on is literally the exact same story. How is this an uncommon story? Far-left gender pronoun children? The f*** are you talking about? The head nod and not immediately go to the hospital for potential hazardous material contamination seals the deal for me. That and all the other scams. And the left is saying, but Elon Musk. Elon is not going around spraying Democrats with weird liquids who are under investigation. Smells like an op. The thing to look for is here. Will Ilhan Omar press charges? If not, extremely telling. It's crazy because it's like, this is the most common story. This is the most common hog story. And these guys who probably have similar stories in their own lives, similar points of radicalization of family members that go no contact when they realize you're like a psychopathic rabid fascist, that will turn around and sincerely be like, oh, something smells fishy here. It's literally the most common trajectory for right-wing man. It is the most common trajectory of radicalization. It is insane that we are living in a universe now. A solid chunk of the population is hallucinating. How the f*** do we get back to reality? But the other reason as to why they're doing this narrative, the other reason why they're doing this is because Ilhan Omar bravely stood and continued to deliver her speech saying, I will not let them win, and also squared up on them. And that kind of bravery is not something that they've ever seen, which is precisely the reason why they're like, oh, this looks too good for Ilhan Omar in spite of the psychotic attack that she received. So this must be fake. But I'll take it. I'll take them saying it's fake because now I'm going to keep saying the Trump assassination attempt was fake. The fight moment was totally staged. And that's the reason why they're projecting. Okay, f*** you. I'm just going to lean into the psychosis going forward, just left-wing style. We need to put people who are this stupid in a concentrated play area without any immediate hazards and let them free roam all day. They can't be outside driving cars like John Fetterman is what I said. Yeah, I'm dark woke now, baby. It's all staged. They're all claiming it's staged because they know they wanted it to happen they wanted it to happen real bad, but also because the president's assassination attempt was fake as I am totally with Blue and on this now. Yeah. I don't know if the Ilhan Omar thing is staged or not. There's certainly plenty of reasons to be suspicious. Like what? The fact that she's Somali American? Is that the only... What reason do you have for it to be suspicious? Yeah, Charlie Kirk's neck just... fentanyl. Charlie Kirk's neck just did that because of fentanyl consumption. Donald Trump's ear had a little thing that exploded. He didn't actually bleed. His ear is perfectly fine. If his ear got snapped out, If his ear got shot at all, it would have exploded. We didn't even see a little bit. We didn't even see a little bit of damage on his ear. He had like one of those vessels, like those explodable things on the side of his ear. It was a shot the firefighter behind him, and they swapped the body, or they had staged a body on top of that container. And Trump's ear blew up a squib. 100%. That's what I believe now.
It did not mention that Alex Preddy had been brandishing a gun, as government officials had alleged. And just as things seem to have calmed down here, that frightening moment last night with Representative Ilhan Omar sprayed with that unknown substance. Now, she's been a frequent target of President Trump, and it happened in front of dozens of people.
Kristi Noem must resign.
Just as Congresswoman Ilhan Omar called for Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to step down, police say 55-year-old Anthony Kamirzak charged at her during that town hall Tuesday night, using a syringe to spray an unknown substance before being tackled to the ground. Despite safety concerns, Omar, insistent, continued the event.
Here is the reality that people like this ugly man don't understand. We are Minnesota strong, and we will stay resilient in the face of whatever they might throw at us.